Nowadays, folks can pick up their iPhone or get a camera from Best Buy and shoot their own movie, right? Well, there's a whole other level of movie making, of filmmaking, that gets the attention of Paramount Pictures. And our next guests are Minnesotan movie makers who did just that. Take a look at the Infernal Machine.
This is a message for William DeKent. This is Bruce Coburn.
Mr. DeKent.
Mr. DeKent?
I'm calling in response to the letters I've received from you. I'm not sure how you found me.
But your letters constitute harassment, so please stop sending them.
You're that writer of The Infernal Machine. I remember them pulling it off the shelves because of the shooter from Knoxville.
He's the reason I never wrote a second book.
The right combination of words will make a man do just about anything.
The 17-year-old killed 13 people after reading the controversial novel, The Infernal Machine.
The Infernal Machine hits select theaters and on demand tomorrow. Please welcome to the show writer and director Andrew Hunt, composer Nathaniel, and editor Jeremy, everybody. Welcome. Whoever wants, first of all, let me get the typical question out of the way. I didn't give a lot. I didn't get kind of the through line of the movie. What's it about?
Well, the film is about it's a psychological thriller, and it's a film about an author named Bruce Coburn, played by Guy Pearce. And he had written this very controversial book 25 years ago called The Infernal Machine. And this is a book, when it first came out, a 17-year-old kid read it and was inspired to create this horrific act of violence. And so now we're cutting to 25 years later. Our author, Bruce Coburn, is living as a recluse out in the desert, and he starts getting these letters from a fan that shouldn't know where he lives, shouldn't know anything about him. And that's kind of where the film starts, and it starts to go into this crazy roller coaster ride after that.
Andrew's the writer. Where did this nugget? I always like to know the origin of things. Where did this nugget come from? Did you have this happen to you?
Well, no. Thankfully, no. And
Write about what you know, Andrew.
Well, I hope not.
Okay.
But no, it started with, I had heard this podcast called the Hillier Society, and that was the seed. But then I've also been really fascinated with creative versus creation. So like J.D. Salinger and Catcher in the Rye, and how Catcher in the Rye inspired, the assassination of John Lennon, the assassination attempt on Reagan. And for me, I was not so much interested in the violence or that. I was more interested in the relationship the author now has with their creation, because it's like, was there something that I put in this book or that I put in my art that I didn't realize I was putting in there originally?
That could have inspired.
Exactly. So it's that thing that almost like parents that raise their kids, and their kids go out in the world, and if their kids do something wrong, the parents are like, okay, I feel responsible for this.
I've released this into the universe.
Exactly. So that is where the movie, so it's this psychological thriller, it's this very emotional drama, and it's this mixture that we just want to build just a crazy roller coaster ride for an audience to really enjoy a 2-hour movie.
Nathaniel, we love a good Minnesota connection around her. I mean, we do. I don't care if people drove through Minnesota, we'll be like, we claim them. But you guys, see that new movie? They drove through Minnesota. Anyway, but you guys are all from around here. How did you three come together?
Originally, I was from Minnesota. I went to school here. I was mentored here by a guy who works in Hollywood film, does a lot of big movies, is an orchestrator. His name's Robert Elhigh. He was a mentor, teacher of mine. So when I was 20 years old, I went out to LA, made my way, and ended up back here 2 years ago. And Andrew and I have been working together for 10 years, and we met, I mean, I can tell you that story. It's a longer story,
yeah.
But so we've been working together for 10 years, but at a long distance. So this was the film, the big feature film that we did together that brought us together in the same room where we could work on it. Everything was great.
And I love, editing-wise, I like what I do, but I think a lot of great filmmaking, I think your job is so critical, because you kind of mold, they create and then you put it together. What's your favorite part of the process for you? I'm fascinated by editing.
I think my favorite part is, on this project especially, getting to work with Andy on something like this at this scale, with performances by Guy Pearce, who's in like almost every scene of the movie. And Guy Pearce is so good in this movie. I think just watching those performances and diving deep into like finding these little nuggets in his performance that elevate even his performance more, and just finding those like cool reaction shots between him and the other actors is exciting and awesome.
Can I call you Andy?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, Andy.
I've been called worse.
Okay, yeah. when you work with a presence and a talent like Andrew, you know, rising tides raises all boats. Do you feel a desire, a need to like raise your game because it's Guy freaking Pearce?
Absolutely. I mean, that's a beautiful thing.
I wanted to say another word, but I like my show.
I mean, it's a daytime show. You know, the beautiful thing about Guy, the beautiful thing about everybody, is they really were attracted to the script. They really loved the script, and we all just wanted to keep making it better. So it's of course, making a movie for Paramount. I'm terrified that I'm working with Guy Pearce because he's huge. And then being able to work with him. And we were like two 12-year-olds playing in a sandbox. And when you have that spirit of play, and you have that with everyone that you're making the film with, it's a really intense movie, but it was such a blast to make it. So, you know, I'm like a kid in a candy store.
And I just hate him because he keeps getting better looking. You know what I mean? As he ages, I swear he gets better looking.
The thing about Guy is that he's a chameleon. Every movie that you see him in, he looks different, he presents himself different, his voice is different, his walk. So for me to write this character and then have a front row seat to watching this work, I was like, I was giggling like a child, and because I mean, who wouldn't?
Who wouldn't? Go support this film, everybody. The Infernal Machines hits theaters, select theaters tomorrow, and then will be available on demand. Give it up for the guys. We're going to take a break. We'll post this on social a little bit later. We'll be right back in a moment. Thank you so much, my friends. Thank you.